Friends, I welcome you all to our today's session. Since in the previous class we have already covered the concept of directors, we know who are the directors, and we know company has to be managed by a team. That is what was board of directors. So board of directors means the group of directors. You can say collectively all the directors together can be called as board of directors. And we have also understood that the decisions are taken by the group. All these decisions, most of the decisions, or you could say major decisions of the company are taken by the board. Of course, for operational decisions, the operational decisions may be delegated to other employees. Uh, and we have also seen, we have also covered some of the types of directors. That means we know what is the meaning of executive director, what is the meaning of non-executive directors, all these things we know. Next concept is that we are supposed to learn about the appointment process. But friends, the appointment process varies depending upon the type of director we are talking about. For example, the way of appointing an alternate director may be different. Okay, so there will be some issues like this. So what we'll do first today, let me covering the concept of type of director. Let us list out what are the various possibilities of director. After that, we'll be moving to this appointment process. So let me share the screen with you. So previous class we have already seen the meaning of directors. What is the legal position of the directors? All these things we have covered. And we know company has to have a board of director, how many numbers, minimum, etc. We have also understood. Yeah. Now let us learn about the types of directors. So various types of directors we'll be talking about, and some of them are already covered in the previous class. So you know there is a concept of women director. Okay, women director. You know what is the meaning of that women director? That is in certain. This is the rule suggests that in some companies there is a requirement that at least there should be one woman director in the director should be an woman. And who are these companies? You know, these listed companies and public companies having paid up capital of 100 crore rupees or turnover of 300 crore rupees or more. So these are the companies who has to appoint this category of director, women director. This is our first category of director. We are learning women director, right? So how this what in newly incorporated company, etc., how this will be treated, we have covered in your previous class. Then one more kind of director is resident director. So that also, you know, at least one director is required to stay in India for a total period of not less than 180 days. Uh, okay, 182 days. 182 days is the minimum requirement for which he has to stay. That means nearly 6 months. So at least one director should be a resident director. And in case of a newly incorporated company, this condition has to be checked proportionately. This is second type. Third type of director is independent director. So large public company, in order to ensure corporate governance, and some private companies also, they're required to appoint independent directors. So independent directors means they have their independent minds. They're not supposed to be unduly influenced by other members of the board. So in case some illegal decision, some wrong decision, or some decision which is not the best interest of the company is taken, then these independent directors are supposed to raise their objection. So third category is the independent director. Know this. Just you can watch this picture and you can understand that where there's the requirement of appointing independent directors. Of course, the concept of independent director will be learning again separately in a separate class. Entire thing about independent director will be learning. So now you see listed public company. At least 1/3 of the total number of directors will be independent director. And for other classes of companies where the paid up capital is more than or equal to 10 crore, or turnover is more than equal to 100 crore, or the aggregate outstanding loan, debentures, and deposits more than equal to 50 crore, they should have at least 2 independent directors. Okay, we'll be learning the appointment process also. This appointment process is different. Okay, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this also you have seen this earlier. Interested directors. Interested director is director who is interested in a particular business transaction, and he is expected to disclose his interest at appropriate time and in appropriate forum. They are called as interested directors. This also we have discussed earlier. And who is executive director? I think that also we have discussed. Okay, so the board may comprise both executive directors and non-executive directors. Executive directors are responsible for managing different business operations. They practically head various departments. They are called as executive directors. But whereas non-executive directors, they attend board meeting, they participate in the board meeting, they participate they participate in the discussion which relates to forming of policies. They are non-executive directors. Okay, they do not head any department, and but they have to be held liable if knowingly they consented some wrongful acts. So even if they're non-executive directors, they'll be also held liable for this kind of situation. Non-executive directors. Okay. Now this is additional directors. I think in the previous session we have not studied about this. So this is a concept that additional directors. Now you see, if you read this provision of 161, we have to study in order to understand this concept. It says articles of the company may confer on its board of directors the power to appoint any person other than a person who fails to get appointed as director in a general meeting as an additional director at any time, who shall hold the office up to the date of the next annual general meeting or the last date on which the annual general meeting should have been held, whichever is earlier. First, let us understand this concept. You know, when the company is incorporated, so company registers a document which is called as Articles of Association. So in short, we call it as AOA or simply articles. And this document, Articles of Association, we have seen it earlier. Is it not? Have you remembered? I have shown you a copy of Articles of Association. Have you remembered this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in that AOA document, power may be conferred on the board of directors to appoint a person as additional director. So who can appoint additional director? Now I think this concept is clear. Board can appoint provided power is there in the Articles of Association. Is it done? But here we have to keep in mind that certain type of person cannot be appointed as additional directors. Who are these persons? You see, it says other than a person. So that means if this person cannot be appointed, who fails to get appointed as a director in the general meeting, then normally we will be learning when we come to the appointment of directors. Directors are appointed normally in a general meeting. Is it clear to you? Directors are appointed in a general meeting, but additional directors can be appointed by board, provided power is given in the Articles of Association. Okay, but if a person has failed to be appointed in general meeting, so general meeting he didn't get enough vote. The question comes: can a board appoint? Answer is no. Board cannot appoint. If the person has failed to be appointed in general meeting, then the same person cannot be appointed as additional director by the board, even if board has power to appoint someone, because the section has clearly said that article may confirm this power, but a person can be appointed other than a person who fails to get appointed as a director in general meeting. Okay, that person cannot be appointed. Any other person can be appointed. And if a director is appointed, then he shall be holding the office till next AGM. Till the holding of next AGM, he will be continuing to be additional director. And in case the company doesn't hold any AGM, then till the last day on which the annual general meeting should have been held. Okay, normally the annual general meeting is held within 6 months from the end of the financial year. Suppose financial year ends on 31st March, then April, May, June, July, August, September. These are the 6 months time. Of course, in certain exceptional situation, this period can be extended. So he can hold the office of the additional director till the date on which the annual general meeting should have been held. So either that date, if the annual general meeting is held earlier, so till that earlier. So whichever date is earlier, till that time, this additional director will be continuing in his office. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, friends, you see, here you see one more category of director. As you can read, this they are called as can you read it out?
Alternate director.
Alternate director. Friends, you see, additional directors are different, alternate directors are different. Let us say, what is the meaning of alternate director? If you read, it says, the board of directors of the company may, if so authorized by articles. That means here again, you require the permission of articles. Articles should permit to do so. By a resolution passed by company in general meeting. The board should be board of directors, if so authorized by the articles, may by resolution passed in a general meeting. Now here you have to keep in mind the resolution has to be passed in a general meeting. Appoint a person, not being a person holding any alternate directorship for any other director in a company. That means if the person is already appointed as alternate director for some other director, that person cannot be appointed. Some new person you have done. So such other person can be appointed to act as an alternate director for a director. That means the alternate director is always appointed for a particular director. Then why he will be appointed for some other director? Because that director may be absent. Okay, so during the period of his absence, for a period not less than 3 months. So if the director is absent for a period of 3 months or more, then only you can appoint an alternate director. Okay, if the person is absent for 3 months or more from India, if the director is not there for India for a period not less than 3 months, then an alternate director may be appointed by board of directors if it is authorized by articles or if a resolution is passed by general meeting. Either way. Is it clear to you how alternate director can be appointed?
Yes.
Right. Now, normally directors are appointed always in general meeting, but we have seen an additional director can be appointed by board if articles permits. An alternate director can also be appointed by board. Board can appoint these two category of directors. Is it not? Now, one more concept we'll be learning about this. This is the concept of nominee director. This also we need to refer to section 161 to understand this. Who is a nominee director? Nominee directors means a kind of directors normally who are nominated by an institution. For example, let us say your company sanctioned a loan by State Bank of India. The State Bank of India may put a condition in his loan agreement that he will nominate a person as director. He will be in your board. In this board, he is actually acting as a nominee of State Bank of India because director has to be an individual, isn't it? Can State Bank of India itself be appointed as a director? No. Only an individual can be appointed as director, that we already know earlier. So, SBI may nominate a person or any other institution may nominate a person who will be acting as the director. And that person will be called as a nominee director. Are you getting it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
That person will be referred to as nominee director. Now you see about the nominee directors. Let us see this provision. Subject to the articles of the company, the board may appoint any person as a director nominated by any institution in pursuance of the provisions of the law for the time being in force, or any agreement or by the central government or the state government by virtue of its shareholding in central government, by virtue of its shareholding in a central government company, in a government company. That means you see who can appoint, who can nominate a director. Maybe an institution can nominate, maybe central government may nominate, maybe state government can nominate, or maybe uh, in pursuance of certain agreement, one person can be nominated. You might be having a contract with someone, accordingly, the other person might be nominating someone who will be appointed as the director. So these are some situations where a nominee director can be appointed. So when you say nominee director, actually they represent some other person. That's why they are referred to as nominee. Is it clear to you? Did you understand? Who can be a nominee director?
Yes, sir.
Now, next category of director is, okay, now nominee director, two more points are there. So nominee director is a director appointed by board of a company to represent the interest of the person who has appointed him in the, suppose nominee directors are appointed by a finance company. So his job is to look at the interest of the person who has appointed him. He may be appointed by a shareholder, maybe by creditor, maybe some other stakeholders also may appoint. Okay. If that type of agreements are there, that's there. So anybody can appoint, any other stakeholder can also appoint a nominee director. So this is about nominee director. Now, this term you must have heard of what I'm showing you right now in the slide. Is it not? Can you read it? Which kind of director we are talking about right now? 10th category of director.
Managing director.
Managing director or MD. This means a director who, by virtue of the articles of the company or an agreement made with the company or a resolution passed in its general meeting or by the board of directors, is entrusted with substantial powers of management of affairs of the company. Here you have to see substantial powers of the management of affairs of the company is entrusted with this person. And this includes a director occupying the position of managing director by whatever name called. You may give different names. You may call that person as president of the company. Okay. You may call it as CEO of the company. Anything you may call by whatever name called. But if he is entrusted with substantial powers of the management of affairs of the company, so you have to see whether substantial power is there or not. As regards to management, not operational power. Okay, if it is there, then that person will be called as managing director. Okay, or that person may be mentioned in the articles of association of the company as managing director. That means by virtue of the articles, that person is called as managing director. Or maybe an agreement has been entered into the company and he has been appointed as managing director. Or a resolution might have been passed in general meeting where it has been decided that this person will be the managing director. Or the board of directors might have made that person as managing director. Or he is entrusted with substantial powers. In these situations, you can refer a director as managing director. Is it clear to you? Who is a managing director? Yes or no? Please respond.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, friends, this is the 11th category of director we are learning about. These are called as a WTD or old-time director. Very simple definition. Includes a director in the whole time employment of the company. if a director which is employed in the company for the whole time, that is full-time employment. Okay, if he's full-time in one company, means he's not supposed to be a whole-time employment in some other company. In other company, he can be at best be a part-time employee. Okay, so the definition is inclusive definition. It includes a director who is in whole-time employment of the company. That director can be referred to as whole-time director. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Now, this is in fact the last category of director. You can read it, delinquent directors. Let us read this provision. A director who has misapplied or retained or became liable or accountable for any money property of the sick company, or has been guilty of any misspends, non-misspends, or breach of trust in relation to a sick company, that director can be referred to as a delinquent director. Okay, he might have misapplied the monies, or might have misappropriated, might have retained or become liable or accountable for the money and property of the sick company, or he may be held guilty. That kind of director can be referred to as delinquent directors. Okay, understood? What is the meaning of this? So these are in fact the 12 categories of directors we have understood right now. So let me quickly once again show you the list of the directors. Okay, first one we started with women director, then resident directors, independent directors, interested directors, executive director, non-executive director, okay, additional director, alternate director, nominee director, managing director, full-time director, and delinquent director. Up to this, is it clear to you? Now you have understood. When you're talking about the board of directors of a company, there might be varieties of directors like this. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Any query you have? Do you have any query at this stage?
Sir, actually, the whole-time director who is a paid salary director, sir.
Yeah, normally. Whole-time directors means you see, if you read that definition, it clearly says that he's in the full-time employment. When I say full-time employment, normally it implies that he is getting some compensation in the form of salary. Okay, but it may not be. It may not be also. If the condition doesn't say that he will be employed for a salary, there is a possibility one may be employed without salary also. That possibilities are there. You cannot ignore that. But if he is employed for the whole time, you can refer to that director as whole-time director. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Normally, practically, if you see, it is for a salary. But technically, if you interpret, nowhere salary part is mentioned. He is employed. I may employ someone without salary also. He is my employee, but salary is zero. It's possible.
Sir, it is also for government company and private company also.
Yeah, you see, when the definition is there in Companies Act, so it is applicable for a company, for all companies, unless there is some exception. So it's for all types of all kinds of companies who are registered under Companies Act 1956 or 2013.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Now, having understood this thing, that this is the constitution of board, and these are the possible types of directors are there, and having broadly understood that directors can normally be appointed in a general meeting, subject to some exceptions, some special cases like alternative directors, additional directors, etc., who can be appointed by board also. Now, in fact, we are in the position to learn the appointment process. So today I initiate the appointment process. Next class will be learning in detail. So let me quickly share with you a file Just give me 1 second. Then we'll be learning about this appointment process. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Do you have any query regarding types of directors at this stage? No query?
Yes, sir. So last the delinquent director.
Yeah, delinquent directors that you have seen that if that director is liable, he might have misused the assets of the company, might have misappropriated something. Okay, that's director of a sick company. That director will be called as a delinquent director.
Sir, C company means liquidator company.
Not necessarily liquidated company. It's a company whose financial position is bad. And there is a definition also. Maybe in some other time I'll be explaining you what is exactly in which situation a company can be reported by this sick company, but may not be liquidated. Maybe in the process of liquidation, but just not be liquidated. But practically, if you see if the company is liquidated, that means there is no more. It's not a company at all. After that, company is dead. Is it not? Company
Okay.
may be in liquidation, but liquidated means it's no more a company. Company is dead. That is the process through which we kill a company. Is it not? So company is created by law, company can be killed by law. So liquidation is a process through which we kill the company. This is one of the process. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Any other query? Anyone have? Before I move to the next concept, that is appointment. Okay. Now let us initiate that topic. As I told you, next class we'll be learning it in detail. Today I'm only initiating that topic. Now you see, we'll be learning. Sorry, I think I have not shared the screen with you. Give me a second for that. Oh, there is. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, friends, this is about appointment of directors. Now you see. And for that thing, we have to learn, in fact, section 152 to understand the appointment process. So different process might be different. And this section 152 deals with the matters relating to appointment of directors. First, if you read it, appointment of the first director. You understand what is the meaning of first director? First director means when the company is incorporated at the very beginning. We have already understood the registration process, incorporation process we have seen. At that time also we have seen how memorandum of association is prepared, how articles of association is prepared. Must have seen it. If you have not seen, then you can refer to our recorded video which is available. So now you see, at that time when I had shown you that articles of association, all of you have seen it minutely. At that time you must have seen there was one point, one area where it was mentioned who are the directors. So let me show you that once again. Then you will get some idea that the first directors are normally appointed through articles of association at the time of incorporation. Okay, so let me show you once again that memorandum and articles of association. Just give me 1 second. I'm looking for AOA. Okay, I got one AOA. Let me show you. This is in fact not the previously I was showing you some AOA in the electronic form, and this is a manual AOA I'm
Yes.
showing.
Yes.
Manually it has been prepared. Just let us see that. After that again we'll see that EOA. This is when you see articles of association of a company. Are you able to see it? Here also articles
Yes.
of association means the internal management things will be there. So let us see if directors things are mentioned or not. You see, it is talking about interpretation, what is the meaning of private company. Private company, you know, by definition, restrictions are there. These are the restrictions here. You've already seen it. But we are looking for capital, okay, we are looking for the directors. You'll find the director's name normally. It should be there. Can you read it here? It says, what it says, the following shall be the first directors of the company. So this gives us an idea that the first directors are normally appointed through articles of association. Are you able to see it? This is an articles of association. You see about the directors. And you see, when company is registered, these people have subscribed to the articles. So these are the directors, you see. Okay. They are called the subscribers to the articles of association. Similarly, memorandum of association you can also refer to. There also, you know, there will be subscribers to memorandum. Let me show you one more article if available. I will show you. That is e-form. Let me show you. Okay, I think it's there. Let us search it here. You see, this is EAOA, e-articles of association. You see, that means online it is uploaded. You see, clauses are saying, we'll be searching that directors details are there. Or you see about transfer of shares, nomination of shares, forfeiture of shares. Okay. Lesson of profits, general meeting proceedings, adjournment, voting rights, proxy. Now you see, it talks about the board of directors. So electronic form, we also see the name of the first directors are, these are the first directors. Are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
So when you file electronically also, you have to mention the name of the first directors. Okay. And this articles of association you see is also subscribed electronically. So here digital signatures are there. That articles of association manual signatures were there. Okay. Now you have understood. The first directors are normally appointed through the document called as articles of association. Now let us read that for you. Okay. Appointment of first directors where no provision is made in the articles of the company. If it's mentioned in the articles of association, then fine. When no provision is made in the articles of the company for appointment of first director, the subscribers to memorandum. You know who are the subscribers to memorandum? People who have signed the document called memorandum of association. Just like you have seen in the articles last page, people have signed in memorandum also. There are people who are subscribed to that document. Okay, so those who have subscribed to the memorandum of association, and among those who are individuals, because director can be an individual, only an individual can be a director. And among those subscribers who are individuals shall be deemed to be the first director of the company until the directors are duly appointed. So till that time, if some names are mentioned in the articles of association, then fine, they are the directors. If name is not mentioned, then what will happen? The people who are the subscribers to the memorandum, and among them who are the individuals, they will be deemed to be the first directors of the company. Okay, till other directors are appointed. And in case of an one-person company, that's OPC, an individual being a member shall be deemed to be the first director. In case of one-person company, you know, there will be only one member. That member shall be deemed to the first director until the director or directors are duly appointed by the member in accordance with the provisions of this section. So till that time, till the time when some other person is appointed as director, so this person, that one person who was an individual, shall be deemed to be the first director of the company. Is it clear to you regarding appointment of first director?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see these are the subscribers details. So in memorandum also you can find subscribers. So if the subscribers are there, so they will be deemed to the first director. This is the last page of an MOI. They will be deemed to the first director if it is not mentioned. Therefore, usually the articles of the company contain the names of first directors. You have already seen articles of the company normally uses the name, contains the name of the first director. And in case it is not so, the individual subscribers to memorandum shall be deemed to be the first directors of the company. The corporate bodies, if they are also subscribers, shall not be capable of becoming directors. That means only individuals can be the director. That is a normal thing. Okay. So here I am showing you that a portion of the articles of association. You see, it says the name of the first directors are like this. They are the first directors. So if suppose subscriber is a non-individual, suppose a company is a subscriber, he cannot be director. Those individuals can be the directors. You wanted to ask something? I think. Do you have any query? No doubt, no query. Okay, fine. So this is what we have understood about appointment of directors. Is it clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This appointment part will be recapitulating in next class again. Just give me a second. Yeah. Now, this concept also you have to remember. The first directors are hold the office until the directors are duly appointed. Okay. In fact, the terms of the first director is limited to the holding of the first AGM. So till the holding of first annual general meeting, this director shall be continued. So far as OPC is concerned, the individual member of OPC is deemed as the first director. Therefore, such member may, thereafter, such member may appoint director or directors as per his requirement. OPC, there can be more directors also. Director is not necessary, there will be only one director. Directors can be many, but members will be one. There will be only one member in case of OPC. Okay, so this is the concept of appointment of first directors. And we'll be learning it in detail in appointment of all other directors in our next session. Do you have any query? Then ask me right now. Otherwise, we'll be closing our today's session here. We'll catch up in our next session. Any query you have? It seems there is no query. Thank you very, very much.